seems like a security man, so I'm going to put the camera away. Can't have it all, can you? That man with Van Franco. Right then, made a bit of a cock up there, didn't I? Are you ready for some steps? You better be. Come on then, let's do it. There we are, the Lviv Opera House. So if you don't mind, I don't mind. I'm easy. Now you've got your bearings? Excellent. I really do like the fact that Lublin has these maps. Yes, a bit misleading for an idiot like me originally, but yeah, that sort of fits my mind's eye map. And here, coming back to enter through Brama Krakowska, and presumably that says it all. This was where people would enter from and depart from if they were on their way to Krakow. I think it's best to just go in and have a little stroll, don't you? Stars shining up above me, stars shining telling me that you love me. Well, that's a good little test. I'm not coughing, so I think there's some slow improvement in my old lungs. Something which might escape the general view as you're roaming around this beautiful mural on a wall. Isn't she gorgeous? Of course, not every little side street can be so pretty. Looks like there's a gritty side to the old town. And the gentleman in the background there is named Martin. If you go to tourist information, you can arrange a city tour with him if you wish. Originally, from his accent, he sounds as though he was Dutch, and probably still is Dutch, but speaks English, maybe Polish, who knows whichever languages he can speak. Just a little piece of information for you. Haven't met the man myself, just happened to hear somebody refer to him to Martin, and I put two and two together as I'd seen that somebody by that name was running tours. Walking tours around Lublin Old Town. And of course, I'm not getting any commission for suggesting you might want to take a tour with him. Might be a load of rubbish, how would I know? But it's just there. If you like a walking tour with a guide. Renek number 13, which can mean only one thing. Somehow, we've just with ease walked into the Stary Renek, the old market square. And I did mention before, it is on the small side. The whole of the old town really is rather small, but nonetheless interesting for that. When it's small, you can afford to look a little longer, linger, harder, deeper, and pick out the detail on the very nice buildings. Bit of graffiti up there with an S at the beginning. That style of decorating facades, which looks nothing like modern day graffiti at all. Well, there's a colourful new car in front of an old building. More graffiti. I'm just not sure what Kago Sushi by Alan is, how that sort of fits in with the history, but hey, if you prefer sushi, you've got sushi. Lublin's here to please all tastes. Some more nice little decorative features above the door, below the window there. A violin, so I'm not sure if a musician of some note is connected to this building. Maybe way back in history, or maybe not. More graffiti, sgraffito. And that pretty, almost naive folk art from this old Galician region. If we can include Lublin in Galicia, not sure 100% if we can. And we're still on the trail of famous Lubliners, it seems. Crown Tribunal. This edifice was built in the 14th century as a town hall. In its heyday, it served as the Crown Tribunal, established by King Stephen Bathory. Yes, Bathory. What's Lizzie up to? It was the highest judicial instance for the nobility from Mała Polska, Little Poland, and Ruthenia in the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth. The most notorious case was a so-called Court of Devils that supposedly took place in 1637. Now that's something you need to know more about, and probably you can in Lublin's History of the City Museum. Or if you're really lazy, you can Google it. Court of Devils, 1637 in Lublin. At the end of the 18th century, the building was redesigned by Domenico Mellini, a court architect of King Stanislaus Augustus, and gained its present classicist appearance. The historic townhouses surrounding the Crown Tribunal are connected with the life and work of many distinguished Lubliners, whose names are written, and I won't go twisting my tongue in knots trying to pronounce them all. So that's interesting. I did read that something like about 70% of the buildings in this square are original, undamaged, and not in need of significant repair over the years, as compared to obviously the mass destruction in Warsaw's old town, which of course stands more as a symbol of defiance. Of course, you then wonder, well, where are the 30% that are significantly rebuilt? But it's a cute little place. I think you would agree. Which is the impression I got when I was here the first time in Lublin for a few days. Back in, when was it? Nick the Australian, I think, stayed here. I think, actually, I may have come twice to Lublin. Once when Nick the Australian and I were on a sort of little mini road trip, and another time I was here on my own. If you do listen to the videos, Nick the Australian, I know you're one of my avid supporters, God bless you. Perhaps you'd want to pop in the comments. When was it? 2006, 2008, 2010? I can't remember. Shocking memory. That's made worse by the fact that I'm now recalling I have been here possibly 2 or 3 times, just for a few days each time, in the past, earlier this century. Ooh, Gjanovino. Happy memories of mulled wine. Spiced wine. Better take my mind off that, although I am thinking, oh, that could do my chest the world of good. I'm well wrapped up today, even though it's actually quite warm. But you know how it is, you just feel, probably as I'm sick, I ought to wear extra layers just to keep my chest warm. And as I don't have a fever, I'm not feeling overly hot, but I might have to slip the jacket off in a wee while. The Old Town Square was delineated almost 700 years ago, after Lublin had been granted town charter rights in 1317. In 1575, hey up, that's a bit of a jump, isn't it? What went on between 1317 and 1575? Anyway, in 1575, the Great Fire of Lublin consumed a significant number of wooden buildings in the square. Aha! As a result, brick tenement houses were built to replace them. Part of these has retained. Yeah, the English is a bit off, I think. Part of these has retained its historic construction and interior design. In the 15th and 16th century, Lublin was a significant European trade centre. The square was a place of numerous fairs, which attracted merchants from afar: Turkey, Persia, Italy, France, Hungary, among others. This period in Lublin's history is considered to be its golden age. Oh, there we go, with the golden age again. Right. So 70% of the tenement buildings, I think, are original. But before the tenement buildings, there were wooden buildings, which probably went up, well, wholesale, when there was the Great Fire of Lublin. Oh, and we have some Jewish memories here. Some pictures in the window depicting some Jewish folk. This is Ulica Złote, Gold Street. This is a street associated with the Jewish people, Jewish merchants, people without whom the economy of Lublin would not have gone so well. Oh, there's that man again, Józefa Czechowicza, a poet who, if you're interested in learning more, has a dedicated museum right here. So if you read Polish, if you are Polish, if you're just learning the language, you might want to acquaint yourself with this man. The tenement house formerly belonging to the merited historian and archivist Sergiusz Jan Rybianin. Okay, so there's some mixed Russian, Polish heritage there. It's currently the seat of the Józef Czechowicz Museum of Literature, a branch of the Lublin Museum. In the house at 2 Złote Street lived Franciszka Ansztajnowa, an independence activist, co-founder together with Czechowicz of the Lublin branch of the Polish Writers' Union. Together they published a collection of poetry devoted to the old town entitled Stary Kamienie, Old Stones. You see, it's an alternative perhaps to dedicating time in a museum, almost killing two birds with one stone, walking around while just taking in some of the historical details set out in these plaques placed on buildings. What's in here? A little courtyard, perhaps? Okay, doesn't look promising, doesn't look promising, doesn't look promising. And then suddenly, ta-da! Oh well. Nothing spectacular. Or is it? Some abstract art over there. Or is it? Maybe an interesting view from this out of the way, quiet, hidden. Most tourists don't find their way here. Little spot. Almost reminds me of being in Tallinn, where up on Tumpia you've got a few little spots, I think 3, where if the renovation's all finished you can access viewpoints such as this, giving you overviews of the old town and beyond. But here the overviews aren't spectacular, I have to admit. Lovely looking little park down there, that's for sure. That'd be nice to walk with a lady or a dog, or both. But I don't want to go down to come up again, being a lazy hound, and also finding yes, my chest is a little bit of a, well, it's holding me back slightly. Still on the trail of famous Lublin citizens, priest Stefan Wyszynski's lodgings. Stefan Wyszynski, the primate of the millennium, ooh la la, lived in the tenement house at 7 Archidiakonska Street as a student at Lublin Catholic University in the years 1925 to 1929. After the war, in the years 1946 to 48, Wyszynski returned to Lublin to perform the duties of a bishop, an ordinary of the Lublin diocese. This fact is commemorated by the epitaph in the Lublin Cathedral and a statue located on the grounds of the Metropolitan Curia in the street named after him. A reminder of the great merits of the primate of the millennium is also the statue in the courtyard of the Catholic University of Lublin depicting him alongside Pope John Paul II. Aha! So if you think there are plenty of churches in Lublin, think again. There used to be another one right here. Got an impression, very handily, to give us an idea of how it used to look. St. Michael's, 13th to 16th century, scale 1 to 40. There we have it. Lublin Castle. And again some reference to the importance of the year 2023 to Lublin. It may have been a happening place to be and to come. And in fact, I've been told by, I think, a lady who's an English teacher somewhere down in the south of Poland. She was a little dismayed that some of her students were choosing Lublin for their further education, coming to Lublin University, based, she suspected, on the fact that Lublin has become the new happening place. If you're a university student, if you're a young person, you can study here, of course, and I'm sure the universities are absolutely fine. However, it's the cool place to come, the party city. I remember 10, 15, 20 years ago, the happening place used to be Wrocław, down in the southwest of Poland, but it's moved, it seems. The trend has moved on and come eastward to Lublin.